Chosen one, the storm has broken and the wreckage is absolutely spectacular. Right now, at this very moment, the people who orchestrated campaigns against your peace are tearing each other apart with accusations that would make your head spin. They're pointing fingers, screaming betrayals, and hurling the one accusation that cuts deepest of all, that someone among them has been secretly loving you all along. Your intuition has wreaked havoc in these people's communities, absolute havoc. There's no way to explain exactly how you know what you know, but somehow your presence alone has triggered a complete unraveling of their carefully constructed lies. These are the kinds of people who've been using spiritual law to overpower what they can't get away with in man's law, while simultaneously believing they're exempt from spiritual judgment. But God is alive and well in the chosen people, and cosmic justice doesn't negotiate with their delusions. The density of these people, their complete inability to understand that divine protection is real and active in your life, has led them to first judge themselves in the eyes of man's law, while using spiritual law to overpower what they can't get away with in man's law. At the same time, they're believing that they're not going to be judged according to spiritual law, even as they're using spiritual law to hurt and harm you and other people. The cognitive dissonance is staggering, but it's about to collapse under its own weight. Somebody's secret stash has been uncovered. Not by you, not yet, but within their own family, within their friend group. The people who have known for so long about their wretched behavior, who have hidden it from sight, away from you and others this person was impacting, they're finally being forced to confront the truth. The more you find out, the more God is giving you the clarity that comes with pure purity of heart. This clarity is cutting through their deception like a sword through silk. Someone opens their mouth to speak, and the words that come out are accusations wrapped in desperation. You've been defending them behind our backs, haven't you? You've been loving them in secret. The question hangs in the air like smoke from a fire that's been burning underground for months. The accused person's face changes color, their breathing shifts, their eyes dart around the room looking for allies who are suddenly nowhere to be found. Those around them are now unsure of this person's loyalties. They're thinking, are you trying to get us to harm the collective, to harm you, so that you can continue playing the innocent character even though you got us on board, because we're just as corrupt and soulless as you? The paranoia is spreading like wildfire through their ranks. How do you know what you know? How did you figure it out? How did you find out about their plans? You must have given them something to make sure you're innocent in their eyes, because we know they have a better connection with the collective than we do. But here's what God is showing these people, and it's devastating to their entire worldview. Among them lies no leader at all. Among them lies no truth speaker at all. Among them lies no one with courage whatsoever. Among them lies no loyalty whatsoever. Nobody's playing with them. Nobody's playing with them. The karmic energies that they have gotten into agreement with are turning on them like they always do. It's beginning to rot from the inside out. It's showing itself to have concluded a specific cycle, and now they're in the part of the cycle that was always inevitable, the part you saw coming as a collective, but they were too stupid, too slow, too dumb, and too naive to think they could escape from it. Now somebody is being accused of loving you in secret. For many of you, this accusation has been going back and forth toward the person you may have had a long-term relationship with at one point, and the person you don't even know, barely know, like an acquaintance of some sort. These are the very systems, the very people these groups have tried to use to derail your life, to throw you off your path, to make you question your own reality and your own perception of what was happening to you. Their deep-seated desire for you is beginning to surface. Their deep-seated desire that turned in on itself, where the shadow began to reign over it. That desire, that seed of obsession, that seed of lust and secret love and appreciation and admiration, it's all coming out in full light. The moonlight, no less, but still coming to light. The very feelings they've been trying to suppress, deny and disguise are now being exposed for everyone in their circle to see. Since they believe somebody's giving them away, they're now in active competition within each other, between each other. They're in active competition to win you over, literally. Do you see how God works? How God literally uses your enemies to expose their love, their twisted version of love, and their truth. Even though it takes time, it's still happening exactly as it was meant to happen. The universe has been orchestrating this revelation for months, maybe years, building up to this moment of complete exposure. So you're going to possibly receive secret messages, notes, however they're going to do it. You're probably going to receive people that give you information here and there, that try to energetically warm themselves back in because they want to win. You might believe that they're just trying to cover their ass, but God is showing me something much deeper. They're not just covering their ass, they're believing now that they feel like it's free to be with you. There's no charge to be with you. They're okay to accept their feelings. They don't have to live in the shadows and hide their feelings anymore. The psychological pressure they've been under, maintaining this facade of hatred while harboring secret attraction, has been eating them alive from the inside. The relief they're feeling at the possibility of dropping this pretense is palpable. Some of them are literally shaking with the anticipation of being able to express what they've been holding back for so long. Now it's an all-out war as to who's going to get to you first, who's going to access you first. And here's what's interesting. Those who may have known this, those who may have even secretly defended you behind your back, are feeling so good about themselves. They're thinking, look at me, I'm superior to you, look at me, look at me. They're basking in their perceived moral superiority while the group tears itself apart around them. But throughout all of this chaos, you're being asked to use your discernment. Don't give access to yourself at all. Let trust be the last thing you give to people. Respect can be one of the first things you offer, but trust, that comes last, if at all. As this energy builds, you're going to have a lot of people approaching you, people you may not even know. Love offers left and right. Some people throwing themselves at you desperately, completely abandoning any pretense of dignity or self-respect in their desperation to connect with your energy. There's going to be this gate opening where people who weren't able to see you for what you were, just random strangers, you might see them catching a glimpse of your divinity. The very divinity that a lot of these energies have tried to do witchcraft, to hide, to mirror, to duplicate, whatever it is that they've done to try to diminish your light. All of that energy is coming back to you tenfold, cleansed and cleared and amplified. That's the timeline we're on right now, and it's accelerating rapidly. The funniest part is that a lot of people are going to want to end things on a very nice note with you now. They're going to want to be like, well, I just want to make sure that we're good. I just want to make sure that we're good. They might even open up to you about their own personal life and show you a part of them that's vulnerable, saying, see, like, I'm human too. I have struggles too. I have feelings too. All of this is evidence that the gates have been opened for you. The gates that they've tried to close are now wide open, and the irony is beautiful. It's so funny, because the very people that tried to close those gates because they were fixated and obsessed with you, they hid their desire for you amongst themselves behind hate, animosity, judgment, and superiority. They hid their desire for you behind all of that negativity, creating elaborate psychological defense mechanisms to avoid facing their own truth. Because they were surrounded by people who were feeding back everything that they felt, everything they wanted to disguise that they felt. They thought they were safe in that little circle forever and ever to continue disguising their desire for you. But since you have been protected, and once you're protected, that's it, there's no going backward. God doesn't protect you, maybe today and then not tomorrow. It doesn't work like that. Once you're protected, you're done. You're protected, period. The protection is permanent, absolute, and non-negotiable. Because of that divine protection, their shadows had nowhere to land. They were waiting for their negative energy to affect you, to diminish you, to break you down, to make you question yourself, to make you doubt your own perception of reality. As described in previous revelations, they were waiting for it to work, and now they're antsy. They want to drop this whole charade because they're being told by their leaders, just wait a minute, the ritual's going to work eventually, just wait a minute. Maybe if we do it this way, if we do it that way, if we try this other approach, it's going to work eventually. It's going to work eventually. This is just part of the process. But a lot of them, in this process, this never-ending process, they're beginning to feel antsy. They're beginning to see themselves for what they are. They're beginning to really ask those questions that they wanted to brush over, shut the blinds on, and run away from when they first met you. You became their mirror, their trigger, the reflection of everything they wished they could be but were too afraid to become. The questions they're asking themselves now are brutal. Why am I so obsessed with this person? Why do I think about them constantly? Why do I feel threatened by their success? Why do I feel diminished by their light? Why can't I just ignore them and move on with my life? These are the questions that should have been asked at the beginning, but they were too scared to face the answers. So as you rise, they continue to sink. They sink deeper into the shadow that they thought they could disguise by crushing you. They thought if they could just dim your light enough, they wouldn't have to face their own darkness. But divine protection doesn't work that way. Your light can't be dimmed by their shadows. It only burns brighter, more visible, more attractive to everyone around you. The Obsidian Inner Order is where you can connect with others who value truth over performance. We understand the exhaustion of constant social translation, the loneliness of seeing what others refuse to acknowledge, and the relief of finally being seen for who you really are. We're never going to give you up, never going to let you walk through this realization alone, never going to scroll past your need for authentic connection like it's just content. In the Obsidian Inner Order, we show up without masks, speak without scripts, and connect from places of genuine truth. You don't have to pretend anymore. You don't have to perform. You can finally just be. Join the Obsidian Inner Order. Link in the description. When the groups and gangs and the people that got together to hate you start distancing themselves from each other, it's because a lot of them who secretly loved you are beginning to accept it. They're beginning to feel it, and they're beginning to feel competitive even toward their fellow members, toward their fellow brethren or sister, whatever you want to call that dynamic. The unity that once bound them together in opposition to you is now fragmenting into individual competition for your attention. Here's the truth that they're all beginning to realize: they have no chance in hell. This whole world could burn to a crisp, and there could be just 1 or 2 people left, and you'd still be happy to see the whole entire planet go extinct rather than settle for their version of love. That's how little of a chance they have with you. But they're willing to settle for anything at this point. A lot of these people are willing to settle for anything, even if it's just a remote, distant idea that you could possibly see them as a human being. They're willing to settle even for that. The desperation is palpable. They're watching their former allies turn into competitors, their safe spaces turn into battlegrounds, their shared identity crumble into individual chaos. The group that once felt so powerful in their unity is now revealing itself to be nothing more than a collection of individuals with unresolved feelings about you. My, oh my, how the mighty have fallen. But back to the central point. Whatever secret, whatever stash of data, information, intel that these people have been gathering amongst themselves has now been divulged and spread around within themselves because of the lack of trust that has developed like a cancer in their circle. The paranoia has reached such a level that they're now investigating each other, sharing information about each other, exposing each other's secrets in their desperation to prove their own innocence. But there's something even more disturbing that's about to come to light. The coordination against you wasn't just social or emotional, it was systematic, calculated, and involved methods that cross legal boundaries. We're talking about organized surveillance, coordinated harassment campaigns, and yes, even spiritual warfare conducted through group rituals and energy manipulation. The evidence of this conspiracy is about to surface, and when it does, the legal implications will be staggering. The people who participated in these activities thought they were protected by the group, that their individual actions would be lost in the collective, but now that the group is falling apart, their individual contributions are becoming visible. The person who documented your movements, the person who coordinated the harassment, the person who led the spiritual warfare sessions, they're all being exposed as the group dissolves. You need to understand that what was done to you wasn't just cruel, it was potentially criminal. The level of coordination, the systematic nature of the harassment, the organized attempt to disrupt your life, these are not just moral failures, they're legal violations. And the evidence is all there, documented by the perpetrators themselves in their confidence that they would never be held accountable. The breaking point arrives when their carefully constructed system of surveillance and coordination is fully exposed. Not just the emotional manipulation, not just the social engineering, but the full extent of their spiritual warfare against you. The documented evidence of their group meditations designed to block your opportunities, the recorded sessions where they performed rituals to diminish your influence, the coordinated energy work meant to cloud your clarity and disrupt your path. This isn't just about hurt feelings or social drama anymore. This is about a systematic campaign of spiritual warfare that has legal implications they never considered. The evidence trail they've created through their own documentation, their own recordings, their own digital communications, it's all coming to light now, and the consequences are staggering. Every single attack they've sent your way has been transformed into elevation. Every door they tried to close became a gateway to something better. Every opportunity they tried to block cleared the path for an even greater opportunity. Every attempt to diminish your light only made it burn brighter, more visible, more attractive to the people who are always meant to find you. The protection around you hasn't just been passive, it's been actively transforming their negative energy into positive manifestation for your life. Their hatred became your elevation, their obsession became your influence, their coordination became your amplification. They've been inadvertently working as unpaid promoters of your energy, broadcasting your frequency to everyone in their networks. The irony is so perfect, it's almost artistic. Every moment they spent focused on you, every meeting they held to discuss you, every ritual they performed to diminish you, all of it was actually serving to amplify your influence and expand your reach. They were so focused on trying to stop you that they never realized they were actually helping you. As the group implodes, individual members begin reaching out to you separately, not as representatives of their former collective, but as confused, conflicted individuals who are finally admitting what they've been feeling all along. The approaches are tentative, wrapped in apologies and justifications, but the underlying message is clear. They want access to your energy, your forgiveness, your acknowledgement of their humanity. Some try to play the victim. I was just going along with the group. I didn't really want to hurt you. Others attempt the reformed villain approach. I've grown so much since then. I'm not the same person I was. A few go for full vulnerability. I need you to know the real me. I need you to understand that I've been struggling with my feelings about you for so long. But regardless of their approach, they're all asking for the same thing, a chance to be in your presence without the pretense of hatred that's been eating them alive. They want to drop the performance, drop the act, drop the group identity that never really fit them anyway. They want to connect with you as individuals, to see if there's a possibility of a genuine relationship beyond the artificial conflict they've been maintaining. Your season of tolerance for their confusion has ended. Divine timing has moved you beyond the phase where their recognition matters to your sense of self-worth. Their awakening to their own feelings is not your responsibility to validate or heal. Their journey towards self-awareness is not your burden to support or guide. The confessions they're making now are coming from a place of desperation, not genuine transformation. They're reaching out because their world is crumbling, not because they've had a genuine change of heart. They're looking for you to be their lifeline, their salvation, their way out of the consequences of their own actions, but that's not your role in their story, and it never was. Eventually, this whole situation is going to reach a level where somebody's going to be held accountable in a court of law, if not worse. The documented evidence of their coordination, the recorded spiritual warfare sessions, the organized harassment campaigns, all of it has created a trail that law enforcement can follow. The spiritual warfare they thought was untouchable has crossed into territory that has real-world legal implications. The beauty of this cosmic justice is that it's not coming from your anger or desire for revenge, it's coming from the natural consequences of their own actions. They created this evidence trail themselves. They documented their own conspiracy. They recorded their own spiritual warfare. They built the case against themselves while thinking they were building a case against you. Something else is happening that's far more significant for your journey. The energy that was blocked by their interference is now flowing freely. The opportunities that were hidden by their manipulation are now revealing themselves. The people who were meant to find you are now finding you, drawn by the very light they tried to hide. The legal system is about to become very interested in their activities, not because you've pressed charges, not because you've sought revenge, but because their own actions have created a pattern of behavior that attracts legal attention. The harassment, the coordination, the systematic nature of their campaign, these are things that law enforcement takes seriously, especially when there's clear evidence of organization and intent. What they're experiencing now isn't just social or legal consequences, it's energetic backlash on a cosmic scale. Every negative intention they've sent your way is now returning to them multiplied. Every spell they cast is now working against them. Every ritual they performed is now manifesting in their own lives as chaos, confusion, and discord. The universe doesn't play games when it comes to protecting the chosen ones. The spiritual warfare they thought they were conducting against you was actually creating massive karmic debt for themselves. That debt is now coming due, and the interest rate is astronomical. They're about to learn that what you send out into the universe absolutely comes back to you, and when it does, it brings friends. The energetic protection around you has been so complete that their attacks never actually reached you. They've been bouncing back to them the entire time. Every curse became a blessing for you and a curse for them. Every attempt to block your path cleared the way for you and blocked their own path. Every effort to diminish your light only made their own darkness more apparent. As their influence wanes, yours expands in ways they never anticipated. Strangers are beginning to see you differently. People who have never met you are suddenly drawn to your energy. Random encounters are turning into meaningful connections. The very divinity they tried to hide is now impossible to miss. This is happening because the energetic interference they were creating has been removed. Like static being cleared from a radio signal, your true frequency is now broadcasting clearly and powerfully. People who couldn't see you before because of their manipulation are now seeing you with crystal clarity. The gate opening that's happening is not just about the people who were involved in the conspiracy against you. It's about everyone who was affected by their energetic interference. The ripple effects of their spiritual warfare extended far beyond their immediate circle, blocking connections and opportunities that were meant for you. Now that their interference has been neutralized, all of those blocked connections are suddenly becoming available. The vindication you're experiencing now is complete and total, not just in the spiritual realm, but in the physical world as well. The people who doubted you are now seeing the truth. The people who questioned your perception of what was happening are now witnessing the evidence for themselves. The people who thought you were paranoid or delusional are now realizing that you were actually showing remarkable restraint in your response to what was being done to you. You don't need their validation anymore. Their recognition of your truth, while satisfying, is not necessary for your peace or your progress. You've grown beyond the need for their acknowledgement. You've moved into a space where your worth is self-evident, where your power is self-sustaining, where your protection is divine and unshakable. The chosen ones don't need external validation because they carry internal validation. They don't need others to recognize their worth because they know their worth. They don't need others to protect them because they are protected by forces far greater than any human opposition. The story that began with accusations of secret love is ending with confessions of desperate love. The energy that started as coordinated hatred is concluding as scattered individual attraction. The group that once seemed so powerful in their unity is now revealing itself to be fragile, confused, and fundamentally dishonest about their own motivations. And through it all, you've remained exactly what you've always been, a catalyst for truth, a mirror for growth, a light that exposes what prefers to hide in darkness. Their inability to handle your energy was never your responsibility to fix. Their choice to operate in shadows was never your burden to illuminate. Their awakening to their own feelings was always inevitable, but it was never your job to facilitate. The divine protection that surrounded you throughout this entire ordeal wasn't just about keeping you safe from their attacks, it was about ensuring that their attacks transformed into your elevation. Every negative thought they sent your way was purified and returned to you as positive energy. Every door they tried to close became a gateway to something better. Every attempt to diminish your light only made it burn brighter. The circular narrative completes itself as the chaos that seemed so threatening at the beginning is revealed to be the perfectly orchestrated dismantling of a system that was never meant to stand against divine protection. The accusations that began this story have transformed into confessions that end it. The hatred that motivated their actions has been revealed as love that they were too afraid to acknowledge. As their world crumbles, yours expands exponentially. The gates that were sealed against you are now wide open. The paths that were blocked are now clear. The connections that were severed are now restored and better than before. The season of hidden influence is over. The time of coordinated opposition has ended. Their ability to affect your energy has been permanently severed. What remains is their individual journey towards self-awareness, self-acceptance, and hopefully self-forgiveness. But that journey is theirs to take without you, without your guidance, without your participation, without your forgiveness being the prize they seek at the end of their transformation. This is your season of divine vindication, chosen one. Not because you need their validation, but because the universe wants you to see the full scope of your influence, the true extent of your power, and the absolute nature of your protection. Their breakdown was not your responsibility, but their recognition is your confirmation. The ones who were meant to find you will find you. The opportunities that were meant for you will come to you. The love that was meant to surround you will embrace you. And their confessions of secret love, they're not invitations for reconciliation, they're receipts for your vindication. The story ends exactly as it was meant to, with their masks finally removed, their truth finally revealed, and your power finally recognized by the very people who tried to destroy it. The circle is complete, the harvest has begun, and the chosen one stands vindicated in the light of their own unshakable truth. Welcome to your season of unprecedented expansion, where your authenticity becomes your greatest asset, your intuition becomes your most trusted guide, and your boundaries become your most sacred practice. The storm has passed, the wreckage has been cleared, and the path ahead is clearer than it's ever been. The accusations that began this story have transformed into confessions. The hatred has been revealed as love. The conspiracy has been exposed as obsession. The spiritual warfare has been revealed as spiritual weakness, and you, chosen one, stand exactly where you were always meant to stand, in the light of your own truth, protected by forces that never sleep, elevated by energy that never diminishes, and surrounded by love that never fails. The mighty have fallen, but the chosen ones rise. This is your time, this is your season, this is your vindication, and it's only the beginning.